What is up, guys? So, Cyberstrike is here, and you may be wondering, what can I do with these three structure decks? Well, here we are. I'm here to give you just that. This is exclusively three Cyberstrike structure decks for Cyberdarks. So, we will get straight into it. Obviously, our 15 cards extra deck is comprised of our three Cyberdark End Dragons, our three Cyberdarkness Dragons, our three Cyberdark Dragons, our three Cyber End Dragons, and lastly our Chimeratech Overdragons. We do run the Cyber Dragon core and one Nashta in here, which means that you can make this. It is possible to make Cyber End Dragon, but you are primarily going to be putting this into the graveyard with Horizon or Claw. Cyberdark Dragon, you probably won't be making this, but you can put it into the graveyard for an extra name. For one of the 5 Cyberdarks, you need to make Cyberdarkness Dragon, and we are indeed trying to make Cyberdark End Dragon. That is not always possible, especially in this kind of build with no hand trap resilience or anything like that, but we will be doing our best. So into the main deck, we have our 2 new copies of Cyberdark Chimera. So this is our Power Bond Searcher. So this is what we are going to be using to make our to get Power Bond and turn it into Overload Fusion effectively. It also has a very nice effect, it's like Shaddoll Squamata for Cyberdarks in a way. When it gets into the graveyard, you can send a Cyberdark from your deck to the graveyard with a different name from those in your graveyard. So it is a little restrictive in that regard. But yeah. So for the rest of the Cyberdark machines, we are running 2 copies of Cyberdark Edge. This is the better of the 3 Cyberdarks. So we're running this at 2 because this is something that we might actually normal summon and want to attack with. And the attack directly is very nice. You can kind of just sneak past everything and attack for game if your opponent's low on life points. Then we are running 1 Cyberdark Horn. It's a decent card by the standards of these 3, but it's not as good as Cyberdark Edge, but it has its uses. Then lastly, undoubtedly the worst one being Cyberdark Keel. We're mainly running this for the name. This tends to be the thing that I dump into the graveyard with Cyberdark Chimera's second effect. So take that how you will. You can choose not to run it. You can maybe run 2 and 2 or just 2 and 1. But personally, I'm still running it for the name count because it can come up where there is nothing you can send to the graveyard anymore because you have the same names in your graveyard. So then let's get on to the juicy part of the engine, so the dragons. So we have 3 Cyberdark Claw. This basically is a gateway to the rest of your deck now. This searches Horizon, this searches Realm, this searches Invasion, and if you like, Horizon searches everything else, Realm searches any of your Cyberdarks. So this is really good now. And then 3 Cyberdark Cannon just searches you any of your machines. Usually you'd be going for either Edge or Chimera. So yeah, this is pretty good as well. And then 2 copies of Cyburn. We're primarily putting this into the graveyard with Horizon because you need to send 2 dragon or machine cyber monsters with different attributes, and since this is a light, this fulfills the requirement quite nicely. It also, its graveyard effect is actually kind of relevant. If you summon Cyberdark End Dragon using its alternate summoning condition, so you basically put the 5 Cyberdarks in the graveyard to summon Cyberdarkness Dragon, and then equip Cyber End Dragon, tribute it for Cyberdark End Dragon. If you can equip this into Cyberdark End Dragon and then use Invasion on the opponent's turn to send this to the graveyard, this can resummon Cyberdarkness Dragon from the graveyard, and then Cyberdarkness will equip something from the graveyard, and then you have an extra negate on board after already disrupting them with the effect of Cyberdark Invasion. So yeah, I'm running 2 of this for now. I like it. I definitely not enough to be at 3, but you could probably run it at 1 if you wanted. I sometimes enjoy seeing it. I mainly want it in the graveyard though, for obvious reasons. So that does it really for kind of the Cyber Dark aspect of the deck. I'm running a very small Cyber Dragon package in the forms of 3 Cyber Dragon core. This is basically now your dedicated normal summon, because this searches all of your cyber spell traps, including your Cyber Dark spell and traps, because they are cyber spell traps by extension. So this searches Realm searches Claw or Cannon Claw searches the rest of your deck. So this deck is like 90% searches now. So you'd be very hard pressed to not open a search card in your opening hand. If you do, then RNG has well and truly screwed you. But yeah, so Cyber Dragon core, dedicated normal summon. I'm running 1 Cyber Dragon Nashta just for a little extra. You can summon this from the by using core's graveyard effect to banish itself. This summons back Chimera. Chimera gets you power bond. Yeah, that's basically it. So that does it for the monsters. Obviously, there's no like hand traps because apart from in Perm, because this is a structure deck. So onto the spells. The spell lineup is basically all searches as well. So 3 Realm. This card is brilliant. Additional normal summon of a Cyber Dark. You get to search a Cyber Dark when you activate it with a different name from those in your graveyard. You can the third effect to equip from your opponent's graveyard can come up, but it won't come up as much now when there's a distinct lack of dragons in the format or machines. But it can come up. It just won't come up often. Usually it's the first 2 effects that you're really after with this card. So then 3 copies of Cybernetic Horizon. Obviously this card churns cards into your graveyard like no other. This card sending 1 from your hand, 1 from your deck, and then 1 from your extra deck. And then you search. So this card is great. You put Cyber End in the graveyard, you put Cyber Dark Dragon in the graveyard, you put anything you really want in the graveyard that's got Cyber in it. I would love to see some new Cybers in the future that really take full advantage of this card, something more so than Cyber Eternity Dragon, for example, already does. It is a shame that Cyber Eternity was not part of this structure deck, but you know, they're trying to be OG, I guess. So 3 copies of Emergency, because we want to see Cyber Dragon core like every turn, effectively, because this equals this, or you know, or invasion. So and these 2 equal the rest of your deck. So you really want to see this, and if you open another one that you can discard it for the power bond search, it's not the end of the world if you open more than one of it. Then lastly, 1 copy of Cyber Dark Inferno. It's still here. It's not as good now that we've got good cards for the deck. But it can come up, and you know, the resetting your Cyber Darks, it can come up, and the target protection is nice as well. But it's at 1 because it is definitely not far from the first thing we want to search in this deck. So that is where it will stay. So Garnet mentality dictates that we run 1 power bond, but I'm running 2 because you are well and truly cooked. If your goose is well and truly cooked if you draw it. Because you cannot search, and you cannot search it with Chimera, and you cannot enjoy the full benefits that Chimera gives it. So you are running 2 of this just in case you draw 1 of it. You're also running a plethora of fusions, and name one of them being Overdragon. So drawing it isn't the end of the world. 2 Cyber Dark, 2 machines, 1 being a Cyber Dragon. Will get you a 1600 attack Chimera tech, which will go to 3200 thanks to Power Bond. So it's not the end of the world, but ideally you are wanting to do a regular combo, put 5 Cyber Darks in grave, activate this, make Cyber Darkness Dragon, attach Cyber End, tribute for Cyber Dark End, etc, etc. Then 1 Overload Fusion, because you can search this with your 1 copy of Inferno. Otherwise, it is just a very nice card to draw, but you don't want to see it too often. So 1 is where it is at. Then finally, traps. 3 Invasion. This card is great. Good interruption. And also piling extra equips onto your monsters, buffing them even more. Very nice. The disruption that it gives and the advantage that it gives you is very nice. So 3. Then 3 copies of our lovely Infinite Impermanence, courtesy of Konami reprinting it in this structure deck. Get them now while you can. If you don't, then you only have yourself to blame. This card is great. Need I say more? Then 3 copies of Paleozoic Canadia, because the extra disruption this gives is nice. I think it just provides a very good disruption in this deck. Prevent your opponent from going into a link monster, etc., etc. So yes, that is the deck. Let me know what you think of it. If you guys enjoy this deck profile, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, or don't. I'm not actually that active on YouTube, and yeah, take this deck for a spin, see how it does. I think you can do decently at like a local event with this. I don't think you can win with this, but that's how it goes for all structure deck, kind of 3 times structure deck decks. You can, if you can get this, the deck basically gives you everything you need for the main deck. The extra deck, you can get things like Barricade Board Blocker, Cyber Dragon Seeger, Elder Entity Entis, Predaplant, Chimera Rafflesia, etc., etc. But like the core of what you need is right here, and it's very good, and it's great that everything is in one place for you. So with that, that's the end of the profile. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.